For those that have been watching my other segments, you may have seen the one where I talked about my first segment of the day being censored, being shadow banned. In that segment, I talked about how people were flooding to beaches, defying lockdown orders, and I was worried that YouTube would probably ban the video, and they shadow banned it. It didn't appear on my channel. Views were heavily suppressed, so I asked all of you to share it to counter that, and it appears to be working. Eventually, the video was restored. I don't know why it didn't appear. I don't know why it was suppressed. Now it's back. But I bring this up because we now have round two. New York, what do you think you're doing? Bill de Blasio says beaches will not be open on Memorial Day, threatens to close them off with fences, as he also hits out at party goers congregating outside bars on the streets of Manhattan. Lockdown is over. I'm not saying it should be over. Calm down, YouTube. I know you already pressed the ban button once. Calm down. I'm saying it is. It's not about advocacy. It's about what people are doing, and it's about you not being able to stop them. Take a look at these photos. First of all, people flood into the beaches, don't care about your rules. Oh, you're not going to open the beaches on Memorial Day? You are asking for a ruckus. I don't want to say riot because these are regular people, but they're going to come out no matter what you do, bro, and they're going to go to their beach. You can't stop them. Again, not advocating for any of that. I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure they're already doing it. They'll keep doing it. And I'll tell you what, these people are not Trump supporters. They look like regular hipster Williamsburg Brooklynites. Look at these photos. People walking on the boardwalk. This guy's got a gas mask on. Check this out. People showing up to bars, crowding the streets. Many are flaunting social distancing rules and not wearing masks. Where is the media to decry these horrible MAGA chud Trump supporters who are not? Oh, I'm sorry. They're not. What do you mean? I thought it was the right who was opposing this. You know, it's crazy, man. As it turns out, the Trump supporters and the Trump people were on the right side of this one as it pertains to popular opinion. The left has gone fringe. They're not representing what people want, because even in New York, the stronghold for liberals, urban liberals, they're showing up, man. They're not even wearing masks. Look at these pictures. Yeah, a lot of people are. Most people don't care. These crowds are massive. This is the opposite of social distancing. They're social closening. They're social gathering. Fine, I know. Let's read the story. Daily Mail says, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio said Sunday morning the Big Apple's beaches will not open on Memorial Day, and he's not comfortable with people gathering outside bars. Oh, too bad. He told people they couldn't protest. You know, if people want to, they're going to do it. You can't stop them. After giving updates about the coronavirus in the city, de Blasio addressed questions about the beaches reopening in the city. There's obviously a quote. Here's a quote from him. There's obviously a huge interest in the beaches and the state of there's a huge interest in the beaches, and the state of New York has said that different localities can make different choices, and some are deciding in the metropolitan areas to open beaches for Memorial Day, the traditional start of beach season. I've said before, and I'll say it again, we are not opening our beaches on Memorial Day. It is not safe. It is not the right thing to do in the epicenter of this crisis. And you know what? Bill de Blasio, he may be right. I actually think so. I mean, the biggest criticism being levied against Trump, Cuomo, and de Blasio is that they didn't lock down soon enough. So what? If they open things up, everyone will criticize them saying, see, look what you've done. Rock in a hard place, man. But perhaps the real solution at this point, yes, you should have locked down sooner, prevented this from the get-go. At this point, however, everyone having cabin fever and not caring about what you say, your best bet isn't to just sever the rope to the people, but to negotiate on something that can make them happier without causing a scene. Perhaps what you should do is maybe set up fences with entry points where you tell people wear masks and social distance. Instead, what he's going to do is he's going to close everything down. People are going to trample over the fence, and there will be no rules. If you can't lock things down, the compromise makes the most sense. Yeah, by all means, the beaches are open. Everybody have a good time. Social distance. Stay close to the people you live with. Wear masks. Do the right thing. People would probably obey, being like, yeah, okay, cool. But if you just tell them to F off, they're going to break the rules and they're going to go swimming, and you can't do anything about it. They say, New York. The story goes on. New York City was declared the epicenter for the virus in the U.S. mid-March. There are more than 196,000 confirmed cases of the virus, with at least 17,780 confirmed deaths and 4,820 probable deaths. Here we can see all the photos, but it extends beyond just the beaches. As we mentioned, people are just going to the bars anyway. So it seems like the point I was making in my earlier video is that the will of the people is what the people will do. And there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, people are getting along just fine. The businesses are opening. You can't stop it. De Blasio said city officials are going to be very smart and careful about reopening and will continue to watch indicators which don't have us where we need to be yet. After all the progress we've made fighting back this disease, we're not taking that chance, he added. The mayor said he hasn't ruled out beaches reopening later in the summer. De Blasio said walking on beaches is permitted, but if people start to swim or defy social distancing guidelines, then the city will take more drastic measures and put fencing in place to keep people out, which still won't work. What are you going to do? You're going to arrest? Look at all these people. You're going to arrest everybody? It's not going to work. They need better solutions to this, man. They say on Friday, Governor Andrew Cuomo announced that New York State beaches will be open for Memorial Day weekend. Local agencies can decide not to open them. Yeah, we get this. Let's take a look at what's going on with these bars. People flock to NYC area bars, beaches as quarantine fatigue intensifies. Why don't you do this? Why don't you get in the comments? Tell me what you think about the lockdown so far. My opinion has been the lockdown served its purpose, and it was probably a good thing we did it because you're better safe than sorry. But we're now learning from all of this new data that maybe it's time to reopen and get some sunlight, get some vitamin D. There are many countries that have a lot of sun that haven't seen this kind of impact, and maybe we should look at other countries and how they've succeeded. Look, what do you think? I mean, most of you are probably getting cabin fever. I work from home, so I haven't noticed it as much as most people. Now, sure, I haven't been going to the movies. We haven't been going out to eat. It's kind of boring. But for the most part, I wake up, I work, I live where I work, So what do you think? That being said, let's keep reading and see what's going on with the New York area bars, where people certainly agree with each other. They're not going to be locked down anymore. They're partying like it's 2019. Lockdown-weary New Yorkers ditched the distancing to get social instead this weekend, transforming parts of the Big Apple into a raucous late-season Mardi Gras. That's really interesting. All of these people with cabin fever all going outside at the same time is going to make everything so much worse. This is hilarious. Whereas normally people could engage in social distancing by locking them up, they have all this pent-up frustration. Everybody is desperate to get out, so they all go out at the same time. Now you're going to have big clusters and huge gatherings. Man, you know what, New York? Huge crowds waited shoulder to shoulder on the boardwalk for their turn to buy beach badges. The line for beach badges was like four non-socially distanced blocks long, described one viewer. Obscenely packed. Outside popular bars on the Upper East Side, the Upper West Side, the East and West Villages in Greenpoint and Brooklyn, the Post found booze hounds arriving for the takeout cocktails and then staying to sip drinks on packed sidewalks and soak up the lively scenes. How are you going to drink with a mask on? One reveler, a hairdresser, Akeem Kelly, told the Post. His mask dangled below his chin as he stood outside the Upper East Side's popular Dorian Red Hand bar, where crowds exceeding 36 people, nearly all unmasked, were found in the early evenings of Friday and Saturday. They don't care about us, said Ann Trent, 72, of Manhattan on Saturday. She sat on a bench at the west end of the Brooklyn Bridge as a steady stream of mask-free sightseers and bicyclists passed her by, and she mused, what happened to all of us protecting everyone else? I don't know. People got bored. People got bored, I guess. It's kind of funny, man. All of the rage over the Trump supporters who were demanding an end to lockdown. And now what do we get? They don't care. They never cared. Now that it's them in New York, they're going to be like, well, we got to have our drinks, man. It's not fair. We deserve to have drinks. The crowds, which enjoyed summer-like weather that climbed to a high of 76 degrees on Saturday, apparently had forgotten that they live in the epicenter of the pandemic, or they just don't care, man. Outside the East Village Social on St. Mark's Place, two guitarists helped kick off the weekend's festivities Friday night by plugging into a portable amplifier and jamming for tips for the gathering crowd. Obviously, too many people, one bartender conceded. Most of the bar-hopping social distance scofflaws who were observed Friday and Saturday were young, and many chose not to wear masks. Are we going to get wave after wave, slamming them, insulting them, calling them idiots, blaming them? You know what, man? I'm sick of it. This is what happens when you don't properly approach problems and think about what comes next. You said lockdown. What you didn't think about is what comes after the lockdown. Every single one of these people wants to come out. They come out at the same time, and they come out in bigger numbers than they ever would have if you just said social distance. Now they're not even doing that. Well, but how are you supposed to drink if you're wearing a mask? The one guy says. Well, you know what? It's a good point. How about you don't go out and drink? Yeah, but they want to. If everything that we did so far, look, like I said, I think locking down was the right move, simply because we just didn't know and we were all kind of worried. A lot of people weren't, but most of us were like, hey, this is going to be serious. Now that we're seeing new data, they should have immediately moved to ease up the restrictions much faster than they did. Look, it's tough, man. No matter what they do, someone's going to criticize them. So I think it's hard to figure out what exactly we do. I do know that because of this, we'll likely see more people get sick, and then they're going to blame them anyway. So how do you be fair on this one? It's tough. I don't think we can remain locked down, though, simply because of starvation, the collapse of people's businesses, and we don't have a choice at this point. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but the people have spoken. I got one more segment coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.